Hey, Ethan here, and in this episode we'll be looking at Injustice Gods Among Us, primarily for the Xbox 360. It's one of the best fighting games based on an existing IP, and now it's time for some brief development history.
Injustice Gods Among Us was developed by NetherRealm Studios, the same people behind Mortal Kombat. It started development after the release of Mortal Kombat Reboot in 2011. Injustice was first revealed in December 2012 and then released on April 16, 2013 for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii U, and PC, with the PlayStation 4 version coming in November as the Ultimate Edition and a launch title for the PS4. But let's now finally start Injustice Gods Among Us. The story of Injustice Gods Among Us starts out with a quote from Lex Luthor. It then shows a very destroyed metropolis with officers of the GCPD looking at it in shock and SWAT officers approaching a door, all in slow motion. It then shows Batman interrogating the Joker about a nuke that destroyed Metropolis. Superman then shows up and interrogates the Joker himself. Joker made Superman kill Lois Lane and his newborn son. Joker gets Superman more angry and causes him to kill the Joker. Elsewhere, the Justice League is fighting off several villains. Nightwing then calls Batman to meet him at the Watchtower. Batman then goes to Arkham Asylum and investigates the Joker's cell. Deathstroke then shows up, which Batman then takes down. It then cuts to the Justice League taking down Doomsday. Batman then arrives at the Watchtower and takes down Bane and then Lex Luthor. The other villains then leave the Watchtower and Batman talks to Superman about Doomsday. They then get an alert and Lex Luthor reveals that he gave Joker a nuke in Metropolis. It then cuts to the Joker and Harley Quinn planting the nuke in Metropolis. Batman then shows up with the other members of the Justice League trying to catch up. Just before the nuke explodes, Batman and the Joker are sent into an alternate universe. Batman then realizes that he's not in Metropolis, but something isn't right, which the two then proceed to fight each other. A mysterious army then shows up and proceeds to swarm Batman and Joker, with Batman creating a distraction to escape. It then switches to Green Lantern with Green Arrow, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman also with them. They discuss about what triggered them to get here and decide to split up, with Green Lantern going to Charge's ring. Once Green Lantern arrives to Charge's ring, he overhears Raven and Cyborg torturing someone nearby. We then find out that it is Deathstroke. Green Lantern then shows himself to Raven and questions him why his color is green and proceeds to fight the both of them off. Green Lantern then saves Deathstroke and is alerted by Wonder Woman about Sinestro. Back in Gotham City, Wonder Woman and Green Arrow are fighting off Sinestro. Green Lantern then arrives and proceeds to fight him one-on-one. Once Green Lantern has defeated Sinestro, the Yellow Lantern version of Hal Jordan shows up, which the two then fight each other. Once he has been defeated, the three then go down a block in Gotham City and find that world's Batman. Back in the normal world, Superman, Flash, and Cyborg are trying to figure out what caused the blast. Back in the alternative world, the normal Aquaman goes to the alternate world's Atlantis to ask about important world events. We then learn that this world's Superman was the one that killed the Joker 5 years ago over the bombing in Metropolis. As a result, Superman became evil and had all other metahumans join him to create the regime or new world government. Aquaman then meets up with this world's version of Shazam and the Flash about a treaty that Superman created. Aquaman then finds out that Superman was going to take over and rule Atlantis. This then causes Aquaman to fight the Flash and Shazam. After defeating the Flash and Shazam, this world's Aquaman then shows up and proceeds to fight Atlantean soldiers and then Aquaman himself. More soldiers then show up but are controlled by Ares, the god of war, which the two then fight each other. After defeating Ares, he explains to Aquaman that there is an insurgency and that all other heroes except for one were either killed or joined Superman out of fear. Ares then takes Aquaman to the insurgency. Once he arrives, he meets up with this world's Batman and the other normal members of the Justice League. Batman explains to them about a pill that will temporarily give them powers of a Kryptonian. They then find out that this world's Lex Luthor isn't that evil and is friends with Superman even though he has been secretly funding the insurgency. Batman then explains to them about a weapon in the Batcave designed to stop Superman. It then shows evil Superman running tests on Doomsday at the Fortress of Solitude. Wonder Woman then comes up behind him and Yellow Lantern arrives shortly after. He then tells Superman that he found alternate versions of Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, and Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Superman tells him to hunt them down and to look for others. It then shows the Joker inside of a vehicle with a dead soldier of the regime with Batman watching him from the distance. Batman then makes a move to stop the Joker, which the two then fight. After the Joker defeats Batman, he then gets arrested by Hawkgirl and Yellow Lantern. They then alert Superman that they have captured Batman. This world's version of Harley Quinn shows up and believes that the alternate Joker isn't the actual Joker, which then causes the two to fight. After the Joker defeats this version of Harley Quinn, she then believes him to be the Joker and tells him that there are people that she knows that want to meet him. It then shows Superman, Wonder Woman, and Yellow Lantern looking at the now captured Batman. Superman says that even though he looks like Bruce Wayne, he isn't their version of Batman and that he is a duplicate. It then shows the Joker at Arkham Asylum giving a speech. A few moments later, the asylum is under attack by regime soldiers, which causes the Joker to fight Hawkgirl. After defeating Hawkgirl, the Joker takes on Nightwing and then defeats him. The normal Justice League show up at Arkham Asylum and apprehend the Joker. Normal Flash, Superman, and Cyborg talk about getting into the different universe that the other members of the Justice League are trapped in. Lex Luthor and Deathstroke then have a short conversation. This world's version of Batman then meets up with the other members of the normal Justice League to break into Wayne Manor. Batman explains that the Joker tricked Superman into thinking that he was fighting Doomsday, but he was actually fighting his wife Lois Lane and eventually killing her and his son and all of Metropolis. Once they get inside Wayne Manor, they fight Solomon Grundy and then Killer Frost. It then shows Lex Luthor having a conversation with evil Superman about data on the normal Batman. After taking out Grundy and Killer Frost, they eventually reach the Batcave and find the tool to take down Superman that was mentioned earlier. But then the evil Wonder Woman and Black Adam show up, which Green Arrow then takes them down. They then find that the kryptonite weapon has been destroyed. It then switches back to the Flash, Superman, and Cyborg trying to get inside the alternate universe, which Cyborg enters successfully on accident. He then takes out Deathstroke and then Lex Luthor. He then regroups with the other normal members of the Justice League. They then receive a call from evil Superman about normal Batman going to be executed. They then figure out a plan to go to Stryker's Island while Cyborg and Deathstroke work with each other. Cyborg then takes out Catwoman and the evil Cyborg. Deathstroke then takes out the evil Shazam and Flash while sending the Watchtower to explode. Lex Luthor then says he needs Batman's kryptonite weapon. Batman then tells Harley to create a distraction to all law enforcement while she breaks out the Joker. Normal Superman and Flash try to figure out the teleporter but are having a hard time with it. Deathstroke then takes on Killer Frost and evil Wonder Woman. Deathstroke then finds what Lex Luthor wanted. It then switches back to Batman fighting Catwoman and then Nightwing. He then finds the normal Batman but then finds that Green Arrow is being mind controlled by Raven. After defeating Green Arrow, Yellow Lantern then shows up, which causes Batman to fight him. The two Batman and Green Arrow escape with evil Superman thinking that they went to the Watchtower. Superman gets thrown from the blast planted by Deathstroke a while earlier. It then rewinds about 3 hours earlier, focusing on Lex Luthor. He then flies around Metropolis in his suit, but is then shot down by large missiles. He then runs into Harley Quinn and the Joker and proceeds to take the both of them out. It then shows Green Lantern attempting to fight a few supervillains. Lex Luthor then has Hawkgirl and Black Adam follow him. He then fights Hawkgirl and then Shazam. He then attempts to shoot Superman with kryptonite, but is then shocked by Shazam. Superman then kills Lex Luthor and flies off in anger, hearing voices. Back at the Fortress of Solitude, Superman calls a meeting to invade the other hero's world. Shazam then speaks out against this and is then killed by Superman. As a result of this, the Flash and Yellow Lantern have a disagreement, causing the Flash to fight him and then Solomon Grundy afterwards. After defeating Solomon Grundy, the Flash heads towards Gotham City and finds Sinestro holding a meeting with regime forces. Flash then takes all the weapons, causing Sinestro to fight the Flash. The Flash then finds Green Arrow and asks him about his Batman's location, but then the two fight each other. After this, the other members of the insurgency have a meeting but are suddenly ambushed by a bunch of supervillains, with Wonder Woman taking on Bane. After defeating Bane, Wonder Woman is taken to Themyscira by Ares, which causes Wonder Woman to fight him. After she defeats him, Ares reveals that Superman intended to use the Amazon army to help him with an invasion. Raven then shows up, causing Wonder Woman to fight her. After Wonder Woman defeats Raven, she then confronts the evil Wonder Woman and the other Amazon warriors, which the two then fight each other. But after defeating the evil Wonder Woman, the normal Wonder Woman unites the Amazon warriors to fight with her, while an invasion is commencing in Metropolis. It then switches to the two Batmen inside the Batcave. The two then have a disagreement and then fight each other. But afterwards, they come to an agreement and then summon the good Superman into the regime world. Superman then heads to Gotham City and takes on Black Adam. He also removes Sinestro's power ring and tells Yellow Lantern to do the same. Back in Metropolis, the Atlanteans take on the Amazons and Superman and Aquaman then fight each other. Afterwards, Superman talks to Wonder Woman but is interrupted by Doomsday, causing the two to land inside the Fortress of Solitude. After defeating Doomsday, Superman then takes on the regime Superman as the final boss. After he has been defeated, members of the insurgency show up and then it shows multiple members of the regime getting arrested. It then shows Otherworld Batman and Good Superman having a conversation about the future of the alternate world, with it ending on evil Superman inside of a prison cell. And that is the story of Injustice: Gods Among Us. Back at the main menu, under single player, we have the option to play the story mode. Battles, which are a selection of challenges similar to the classic mode in Super Smash Bros. Star Labs, which are a selection of several challenges tied to certain characters, and there are up to 240 of them in total. Single Fight is where you can play with a CPU player one-on-one and play as any character and choose any map. Training is basically where you can test which buttons are being pressed and get more in-depth statistics. Multiplayer has the option to either play with someone locally one-on-one or play against someone online. Bonus features contain the hero cards, which are very similar to the calling cards in Call of Duty games. Archives are a collection of smaller unlockable things. Injustice: Gods Among Us main gameplay plays like Mortal Kombat, but with having 2 life bars similar to Killer Instinct, and a special move tied to each character similar to the fatalities from Mortal Kombat, but are way less gruesome. It also has an option to clash, which can benefit one of the characters fighting, which most of the time it helps out the enemy instead of the player. The main characters are Batman, Nightwing, The Flash, Cyborg, Green Arrow, Superman, Raven, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl, Shazam, Green Lantern, the Joker, Harley Quinn, Solomon Grundy, Lex Luthor, Catwoman, Deathstroke, Ares, Killer Frost, Doomsday, Sinestro, Black Adam, and Bane, with 6 other DLC characters being Martian Manhunter, Zatanna, Batgirl, Lobo, General Zod, and Scorpion, with the option to play with several DLC skins, my personal favorite being the Arkham City skin pack, and they all have their own separate intros. The arenas are the Batcave, Gotham City, Themyscira, Arkham Asylum and Joker's Asylum, Insurgency, Watchtower, Stryker's Island, Hall of Justice, Atlantis, Ferris Aircraft, Fortress of Solitude, Metropolis, Wayne Manor with the nighttime variant, most of them having a second area with destructible environments. Injustice: Gods Among Us uses Unreal Engine 3 and supposedly runs at 1080p at 60 FPS on all consoles, with the PC version not having a solid performance compared to the console version.
And that is Injustice: Gods Among Us, one of my favorite fighting games still to this day, over 10 years later. And the best part was the products catalog.